Hey, what's up? I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. We're back with you today for part 3 of our 1988 GI Joe Cobra BUGG restoration project. In our past videos, we took a look at the individual parts and pieces, kind of showed you around to let you know some of the common problems you may run across in doing one of these projects yourselves, some of the most common broken pieces and things like that. We also took a look at the disassembly process, where I showed you how to take apart a hull and all the other parts and pieces there that you might need. So in this one right here, the one that you've all been waiting for, we're actually going to go through there and reassemble everything from the ground up. I've got my handy dandy instruction sheet right here. I'm going to step through this line by line and piece by piece and put it all together for you. So stick around and enjoy the show. So step in one is the large interior installation. You snap the large interior over post and body. As I said before in our other videos, I couldn't actually get this one apart, so we just cleaned around it, so that step is already done for us, but basically it's attached to this piece here. Step 2, snap front wheel axles together, snap rear wheel axle together. Again, I didn't take the axles off of this one or the wheels, so they're already in place and put together, but you would essentially just pop these wheels on and then pop the axles in place as well. For step 3 is the actual axle installation. Press hand against interior and snap post on wheel axles onto holes in bottom of body. Be sure to use both hands and snap axle posts into holes one at a time. Also be sure the axle posts are inserted through the holes in the interior. So again, that's just basically press down on these things and line up the holes and it snaps into place. There are these 2 pegs on each axle, as you can see there, and they just snap into place. But again, I did not take that part apart, so that is what we have here. So steps 1, 2, and 3 are already done for us. Step 4 is the cockpit installation. Snap permanent end of seatbelt into hole in left side of seats. Then snap adjustable end of seatbelt into right side of seat. Turn body bottom right side up. Snap cockpit interior into front end of body bottom. So we have the cockpit and we have the seatbelts. So with the seatbelts, if you can see here, there are 2 different sides. One of them has a couple of different adjustment knobs, I guess you could say, and one of them does not. There's also kind of a little buckle here at the very end. The one with the buckle is the permanent one. The one with the 3 little knobs on the side of it, that's your adjustable one. So you're going to take your cockpit and you just slide these into these gaps right there and just press down on it and it'll snap in place. And on the other side it kind of works the same way, and there you have your first seat belt. For the second one it's the same way except on the rear right here. So you just line that up here, press down on it until it snaps into place, and then attach it there. So that'll accommodate a couple of different size figures if you needed to. So then once you've done that, turn it around to the front here, and this is just going to slide in place. If you will notice, there is a round peg hole on the bottom of your cockpit, and there's this one round peg on the rear sidewall of this thing. So all you got to do is just kind of line that up, and it will fall into place just like so. And that's pretty much it. Just press down on it just to make sure it's seated in there correctly. And voila, you are done with step 4. Step 5 is the body assembly. Line up tabs on body top with holes in body bottom and snap together. So we're going to take our body top which is this piece right here. And it has these tabs on the side of it that will line up with a couple of spots around this thing. So you just take it, turn it the right direction. This piece will fit over top of the cockpit we installed earlier. You just kind of line it up until everything kind of looks like it's in the right spot. Wiggle it a little bit, and then just press down on it until it snaps into place. You may have to try to line it all up at the same time if you can. The front one here kind of didn't get in alignment, so we just kind of make that adjustment. Same thing for the side here. Press down until you hear it snap. Snap. We do the same thing in the rear. And if you have to, like on this piece here, you may have to press in on the tab and press down to get it to go into place. But once all of them are in place and everything is secure, you're ready to go. Step 6 is the front and side door installation. Snap tab on front door into holes and front door opening. Snap side door into side opening. Repeat for door on other side of body. So we have this green door thing. It has a couple of these little hose pipes coming off of it, and it has a couple of missile tabs on it. That is the front door. So what we're going to do is take these tabs and just line them up at the front and just press in on the tab, and it should just pop in like that. And it latches into place if everything looks correct. So that's the front door. The rear door, you actually have two of these, one on each side, and they are identical. Well, they're not exactly identical. Now that I'm looking at it, you've got one that has this big square piece on one side, and the other one has this big square piece on the other side. I don't really know which way this is supposed to go, to be honest with you. And the instructions don't really help much, because it just says to put the side door on there. So we're just going to split it 50-50 and say that so we're going to use this big square piece as orientation and put it to the front. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to go or not, but that's what we're going to do. So it fits in the same way as the front door did. You line these tabs up with these tab holes, and you just put one of them in place, and then the other one just snaps in there. Just press on it a little bit and it should just snap right into place. And you may have to wiggle it up and down a little bit to get it to actually fit in there correctly. But once it does, just press down and latch it into place. For the other side, just kind of spin this thing around here, and it works the same way. We have this big plastic piece here, and it has this larger block. We're going to point it towards the front of the vehicle, and then just line up the tabs here at the top. Doesn't really matter which side you put in first, it just whichever one you can get in first. Then kind of wiggle it a little bit like this to get it to latch into place correctly. Then just press down on it and make sure it latches. And if it does, then you're in good shape and ready to go on to the next step. Just thinking about it, if anybody knows if this is actually supposed to go to the rear or the front, post something in the comments to let us know. But since I have no idea, I'm putting it towards the front. Put it to the rear if you want, but I'm putting it to the front. Step 7 is the rear door installation. snap rear door into rear opening. That's very helpful. So this is the rear door. Very much like the other ones here, it has these two tabs at the top, and they will line up with these two tab openings on the back. So we'll spin this around so we can see, and then just see if I can get out of your way here so you can see. Just press that one in on one side, and then on the other side it should just snap into place as well. And just kind of wiggle it up and down again to make sure it lines up correctly. Then just press it down and it should snap into place. This one's a little loose, but it's okay. It will snap in. It stays put, so we're good to go there. Step 8 is the jet top installation. Fit right jet top onto right side body. Repeat process for left jet top. Note, be sure hand pegs on jet top are facing forwards. So we have two of these bright green jet tops. And as we showed you in the earlier videos, it does have some detail work on it, and has these two joystick controllers on the front. That's for the figure's hands to go into to control everything. The two of these are pretty much identical, so it doesn't matter if it goes on the left side or the right side. And I just told you that wrong. It does actually matter. If you flip it over onto the bottom, you see these pegs. They are actually lined up across from one another. So, and the peg holes on this thing are also slightly offset. So the one in the rear is always towards the hole, and the one on the front is away from it. So make sure when you're looking for parts for these things that you get two that are completely separate. You don't want two of them that have the pegs on one side. You want them to have opposite pegs. So pretty much all you do here is line up the pegs with the peg holes and just press down until it snaps into place. Do the same thing for the other side. Line the pegs up with the peg holes, and then just press down until it snaps in place. If you don't find the right pegs, then you'll have to go to another parts bin and get some more, because they won't fit if they're the wrong ones. Step 9 is the jet intake exhaust installation. Snap front jet intake onto front end of right jet assembly. Snap left exhaust onto left jet assembly. Repeat process for right jet assembly. So you should have two sets of these things. You'll have an exhaust pipe, which is the one that looks like a vent. You can see that vent. That is the rear, and the one for the front is kind of looks like a fan. Hopefully you can see that well enough to figure out that that's what we're looking for. You'll need two of each, so make sure you get two of each. So we're going to take, I'll also note here that on these things there is a slight mark on each of these things. That will go, so it's not split in the middle, I guess you could say. It's a smaller portion to the top. And there's a truck going by right now, so I apologize. Sorry about that, folks. As I was saying, there is this indentation line mark on each of these things on both sides. The smaller portion will go to the top of the vehicle, whereas the larger section will go to the bottom. And what I'm basing that off of is, if you look at the side of this thing, where they actually will attach, you see that the green, the lime green, is smaller than the dark green here. So that's what we're doing here. So you're matching up this small side to the top. And then all you got to do is just kind of just press these into place. They just snap on there, just like that. And as you see, that line follows through. Hopefully you can see that. That line follows through with the contour of the jet ski thing. So the fan goes on the front. Take your exhaust, which is the grill looking thing, and go on the back. Same thing for it. Find your separation line, make sure it's at the top, and then just snap it into place. And voila! Flip it around and do the same thing for the other side. The fan goes to the front with the lines to the top. Just snap it into place. The grill goes to the back with the lines to the top. And it just snaps into place. And now you have your jet intake and exhaust installed. Step 10 is the cockpit canopy installation. Snap cockpit canopy onto front end of body. That's pretty straightforward. So this is the front end of the cockpit, and this is the canopy itself. Now if you'll notice, there are these two headlight looking things right there. They'll go on the bottom, so you'll orient it this way. Now, let's see how we can get this to show you. So there is a small lip right here. You'll rest this part with the headlights towards the bottom on that little lip and just press up on it, and then it should just snap into place. There is this other little tabby nookie thing, I guess, that will attach to this, so you can either put that in from the bottom. It doesn't work real well, but don't put that in first. Put the bottom lip in first, and then slide that into place and just kind of press down until it snaps in. And there you have it. You have your front canopy. Take it apart, you just kind of push on it and it just pops right out. So bottom lip, feed it in first, and then just press backwards till it snaps in place. And your canopy is installed. Step 11, rear gun dome installation. Snap rear gun dome over hole in body top. Snap rear gun into rear gun dome. So we have the dome, which is this nice clear plastic. We have the gun, which is detailed on one side and kind of plain on the other side. You don't really need to do this in specific order. I'm going to snap the gun on first. So to do that, all you got to do is line up these pegs with these kind of hinge joints on it and just press down, and it'll snap in place. Then there are these two little hingy tabby things. They just you just press in on them and they'll just fit down right on top of the rear dome, and there you have it. It will swivel, so it doesn't really matter if it goes on front to rear, whichever. But that's pretty much what it is. So, step 12 is the pod cockpit rear assembly. Snap permanent end of seatbelt into hole in left side of seats, then snap adjustable end of seatbelt into right side of seat. Slide submarine pod cockpit section into pod rear and snap into place. So we have two more seatbelts, the cockpit, and the actual back half of this thing. The seatbelts are the same as the ones for the front. There is a small end and a larger end. The larger end has the kind of three knobby things on it. That's the adjustable end. The fixed end also has this kind of buckle right next to it. So find the buckle, put it in. It wants it to go on to the figure's right side. So this side. and it just snaps into place. There's just these little tab openings right there. You just press in on it and until it snaps into place. Then it just kind of lurches over and snaps into place like that. Same thing for the other side. Find the fixed end, the one with the little buckle on it. Put it in on the figure's right side. And then snap it into place like that. And your seatbelts are ready to go. For the pod itself, to orient yourself, this little round peg thing goes towards the bottom. That'll be where we mount our cannon in a few moments. But so make sure that's going down. Then take your cockpit itself, and you'll notice there are some gaps between the plastic here. That's where we're going to slide this into it. So just kind of start it on one side and feed it into the other side, and then just kind of press it into place. You want to try to get it kind of even, but it should just kind of fit in there. There are a couple of little peg holes in the back, but depending on the plastic, you probably can't see them anyways. They don't really hold in place very well, so don't count on them to actually stop this thing. So just kind of eyeball it and see if you can get it pretty close to even on both sides. And that's pretty much it. That's the rear assembly. Step 13 is the pod canopy windshield assembly. Snap post on canopy window into holes in sides of pod rear, then slide into back of canopy. So this is the canopy itself. If you'll notice, there is a little lip on one side, so like your thumb would rest on it. That will go to the bottom, and then directly overhead there is this weird looking hingy tabby thing. That'll go to the top. And on each side there are these pegs. So just to orient yourself. And what you're going to do is take those pegs on the side, and they are going to fit into this little peg holder on each side. And they don't really just hold in place right yet, but you don't really need them to. All you're looking for is just for orientation, and then you just kind of set it in there, and it just will slide back into the back right there, just like that. And that's pretty much it for this step. The next step will actually put the piece here to hold it in place. So if it seems a little loose to you right now, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It will be until we add the other piece. So just kind of set it in place right now. Step 14, pod front rear assembly. Snap pod front into pod rear. So we have the front here, and it's the one that has the little headlight looking things on. And so there are these two square cross looking pegs, which will fit into these little square peg posts in the rear. And then there are these two tabs on the rear piece that will fit into these two tab holders on the front. And you'll also notice there is a little hinge joint right there, which is what the canopy will attach to as well. So basically you just line up everything as best you can, eyeballing it. The square peg hole things line up with the square peg hole pegs, and then all this stuff just kind of works its way into place, and just press down until it snaps into place. Just check it on both sides to make sure everything looks even. That right there is good because the tab popped out and is latched on real good. Same thing for the bottom. And while we're at it, we can start checking the movement of the canopy. And it's nice and smooth. It's got some resistance on it now, so it will stay in place. And as long as that moves up and down correctly, you're good to go. Step 15, gun turret pod assembly. Snap double gun into slot of gun turret. Then snap gun turret onto post on pod. So we have here the double gun, and this is the actual gun turret pod. So what we're going to do is attach the gun first, and it doesn't really matter which way it goes, I don't expect, because there's not really a good way of orienting it. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that so if you look in it, there is a shallow side that has some detail work, and then a deeper part right here that has more detail work. But what I'm going to do is just use the shallow side facing up. I don't really know if there's really a good reason for that, other than that's what I'm going to do. So taking the gun turret itself, and then the actual gun itself, in the turret system, there are these two little peg holders, kind of hinge locker things, that will attach to these two joints right here. So just press this into place with your thumb, and you should hear it snap into place like that, and you'll start feeling some resistance on the gun itself. Then you're going to take this and find this big peg on the bottom of your submarine pod and just press it into place, and it should snap in just like that. Then it'll rotate and go up and down, whatever you want to. But that is the gun turret itself. Step 16, fan pod rear assembly. Snap fan onto pod rear. So we have the fan, and now we have the rear of the pod. There are two pegs on the fan itself, and they will line up with these two peg holes on the rear. So just line them up and just press down on this thing to snap it into place. There are, while I have it open, these two tabs on the rear of the pod itself, and they'll just kind of latch into place in this little center thing that you see sticking up there. So just line the holes up and then just press in on it until it snaps into place. And that is pretty much it for the fan assembly. Step 17 is the rudder assembly. Snap rudders into notches in pod rear. Snap rudder connector onto bottom posts of rudders. So as I said before, I did not take this part apart. I left it in place, mainly because these little peg joints are kind of fragile, so I just didn't want to risk damaging them, since these stupid fins are kind of hard to find. But all you would have to do is just kind of poke them in there, and that's pretty much it. It's just the stabilizer bar. Then make sure that they are both turned in the same orientation. Then grab your pod and look at the rear of it. At the top, we have, well, there are these two hinge pegs on each side, and a joint connecting them here. One is kind of solid and one is open. So take with the stabilizer towards the bottom, just latch that one into place, and then just press in on the top one until it snaps into place. Then fold this over and do the same thing for the other side. Put the bottom piece in first and then just press in at the top. It'll snap into place, and then when you move one, all of them will move in the same direction, generally. And there you go. You've got your rudder assembly installed. Step 18, gun turret body installation. Snap double gun into slot of gun turret. Then snap gun turret onto post underneath front end body. So we have another double gun and another of these turret systems. This works the same as the one on the submarine pod, so I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to take the recessed, the not quite as recessed part to orient towards the top, which will be to the open part here. And just press it in place until it snaps into those tabs. Then find, you may have to flip it upside down or to one side. I'm going to flip it around here just so it's easier for y'all to see, like this, without damaging any of this cockpit stuff. Then on the bottom here, towards the front, whoops, get back into place. There is this round piece here with a peg on it. Just going to take this and just press it into place onto that round peg. And grab it here. And it just snaps into place, then it rotates, and you're good to go. Step 19 is the pod installation. Hook bottom of pod rear onto front end of body, then swing up top of pod rear and snap onto front end of body. Note, depress thumb tab to release submarine pod from the body. Front, and then you just spin this thing around, and essentially you just line up the bottom. Let me see if we can tilt this up a little bit for you and still hold it. So the bottom here, there's this little tab, and then you'll notice a couple of tabs all the way around. On your submarine pod, you have some corresponding tab holes. So you basically just start with it kind of tilted like this and stick the submarine pod on that bottom tab, and then just press backwards until it latches in place. You may have to pull up slightly on this thumb tab to get it to lock into place. Those things are a little bit fragile though, so just be kind of careful with them. And then to release it, all you got to do is just kind of pull up on that little thumb tab gently. Be sure you're being gentle with it. And then the submarine pod will just detach like so. But it does latch in place fairly easily. No big muck or mishap or anything like that. And I'll let the canopy down for that. Step 20 is the torpedo assembly. Fit torpedo halves together, snap nose cone onto front end of torpedo, snap rear exhaust cap onto rear of torpedo. Repeat process for other torpedo. Now I didn't bother taking these apart because they're missiles. You can if you want to, but we're not going to. But essentially you want two of these missiles. And these two are already put together, so I didn't bother with the assembly process, but that's what it says to do. Step 21, jet ski handle missile assembly. Snap jet ski handle onto front of jet ski body. Repeat process for other jet ski. Fit two small missiles onto jet ski as shown. Repeat process for other jet ski. So we have the missiles and the jet ski and the jet ski handle. If you look at this from the side, the handle should be in the same orientation to follow the contour as the actual jet ski itself. So this shape right here with the handles kind of pointing up. Then what you're going to do is take, there are these two hinge joints on the front, and then on the jet ski there are these two hinge joints as well. And then all you got to do is just put them in place, and it just snaps in just like that. And then the jet ski handle will fold up nice and neat onto the jet ski. Then for the missiles, it's pretty self-explanatory. Find the little dumbbell shaped attachment places and just put them on there. You can have them facing the rear if you want to. It makes more sense for me to have them facing the front of the vehicle, so that's why I'm putting them on that way. But it's your vehicle, so whatever you want to do is fine. And there is your jet ski assembled. And it pops up like that when they're driving on it. Which is kind of weird, but I guess it works. There's two of these, so one on each side. So go ahead and do the same thing for your second one. I've already attached the handle to this one, same as before, and now I'll just attach the missiles real quick. And there we go, we have 2 jet skis. Step 22, jet ski installation. Snap jet ski into right side compartment. Repeat for other jet ski. So, jet skis, compartments. We're going to open one of these side compartments, just like this. Take your jet ski, and you'll notice in the front of this thing, there is this little tabby thing. That's what's going to hold this thing in place. So essentially all you do is just put it in here and then just press down on it till it latches. And then it won't be moving too much right there. So that's pretty much it. That's the jet ski is attached now. And you can just close the compartment back up and it'll ride safe. The same thing for the other side. Open the compartment, grab the jet ski, and press down until it locks in place. And that's it. Close your compartment back up and your jet skis are locked and loaded. Step 23, general missile installation. Fit 2 large missiles on the front door. Fit torpedo underneath left jet. Fit large missile onto side of left jet. Repeat process for right jet. Fit 1 large missile and 1 small missile onto cockpit front door as shown. So, we actually have 4 of these Trident missiles. They are alternately calling them large and small missiles, but from what I can tell, there's only one size of them. So, make sure you got 4 of these. And then the 2 large missiles are the torpedoes, is kind of what we're calling them. So they want 2 of the Trident missiles to go on the front door. So I'm just going to pop the canopy door open so you can see here. On the front here, there are these 2 dumbbell-shaped missile attachments. And on the Trident missiles, they also have the dumbbell attachment as well. So just line those up and just pop them into place. Press on them with your thumb to get them to go and put 2 of those on. And then close your canopy back up. Then we'll take a look at the side here. Let's see if I can get this tilted up for you. So there are 2 of these dumbbell pegs. One on the bottom of the jet ski, that is for the big torpedo. So you just take it, it also has the nice little dumbbell thing on it, and just fit it into the slot and press up until it snaps into place. Find another of the Trident missiles. Again, it has the little dumbbell holder on it, and press it onto the side there. Good to go there. Do the same thing for the other side. The Trident missile goes on the side. And then the last torpedo will go on the bottom. I'm going to try to flip this thing up so y'all can see that. But there's really not much to it. You just press it into place. Now your missiles are loaded onto your vehicle. Step 24, Top Gun Mount Installation. Snap gun mounts into hole and body top. Snap top gun onto gun mount on body top. Repeat for other top gun. So we have 2 final guns and these 2 little gun mount pieces. Just pick one of them, start with. It doesn't really make much difference. There are 2 holes on the top here left. We're putting one of these in each of those holes, and it's just a little peg joint for us. So just press down on it and it should snap into place. And sit flush at that point, just like that. Same thing for the other side. Just take it, press down on it until it pops into place. Good. Now for the guns themselves, the bottom has this little hinge rotatey thingy on it. All you do is just line this thing up over top of this piece and just press down on it until it latches and snaps into place. And I'm going to turn this one around this way and see if I can zoom in a little bit from the bottom so you can see that. Alright, so we've got this bottom piece here that just fits over top of this. And basically just line up the triangles and then just press down until it snaps into place. And you're good to go. You have now completely assembled your GI Joe Cobra BUGG. So now the BUGG is fully assembled. This is what we've been waiting for. So let's just go through a couple of the points of interest here. You've got the two top-mounted guns, one rear-mounted gun with a clear canopy. You've got side compartments with hidden jet skis. One compartment on each side. You've got a front canopy that opens that will hold 2 figures. So each of the side compartments also hold 1 figure apiece on the jet skis. And on the sides, you have these jet thingies, which you each hold 1 figure lying down. For the rear, you have an open canopy with place for a gunner here, and then 2 more figures on the sides. So 3 figures total back here. You've got the trailer hitch if you wanted to pull other vehicles. The rotating gun here. Missiles on the side, on the bottom. Here is the other jet ski compartment. On the front, you have a detachable submarine, which has room for 2 figures in there. And then we're back to the front canopy, which again will house 2 other figures. And that's the Cobra BUGG. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here for you, if I can. I guess not, that's about as far as we're going. Quick size comparison for you. We've got the 25th anniversary Beachhead figure here. For size comparison, so it is 1, 2, about 2.5 lengths wide by, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 if you don't count the gun there, figures long. And now the big question that everybody is dying to ask is, do the 25th anniversary figures fit in here? The answer is yes. This vehicle is plenty big enough to hold all these figures. They can grab a hold of the control sticks pretty easily. The only thing I'll notice or mention to you is the fact that the foot pegs for all of this vehicle is the old style, so they are larger than the foot pegs on these new figures. So you can't stand them on the foot pegs. So like the jet ski here, which you actually pop it into jet ski mode, there is a peg on the back here. These figures can't put their feet on those pegs, but that's not going to stop them from being able to drive these things. Just kind of fold this thing back and put their hands on the controls, and you'd never know they weren't made to go. It's very cool. And of course in the front there is plenty of room for all of the figures. There's no problem whatsoever with fitting these things in here. Plenty of headroom. Again, it's made for a lot of figures to fit in anyways, so take the seatbelt off for you. You may have to play around with his legs to get him to go in there correctly, but once he's in there, he's fine. They don't sit down really well, but there he goes. Get him in place and he sits just fine in there. He looks a little weird, but you can kind of cross their legs a little bit or do whatever you want to get them to go in there, but they do fit in there just fine. No problems whatsoever. Same thing for the side seats. There's plenty of room in here for the figures, so let me pop one of these seat belts out for you. Stick him in here and he's good to go. No problems. So if you're looking for a vehicle for your 25th anniversary, this is a good one because their figures will fit in here pretty easily. It's a nice size vehicle. Lots of weapons and cool play features. The detachable canopy submarine pod is really cool. These little jet ski things are kind of cool, but I'm not going to be using them very much myself, but that's just me. But they do work really well. Plenty of storage. So for a total of, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 figures in this thing. All in all, that's really cool. It will hold a lot of Cobra forces as long as they're not afraid of the water. Again, this is an underwater assault vehicle, so your Cobra people need to know how to swim, I suppose. Overall, I really like this vehicle. It's pretty awesome. The only thing I have left to do is just to attach the stickers to it. I've got a Repro decal set that I'm going to attach to this one when I get a chance. So other than that, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And here we have the completely restored 1988 Cobra BUGG. Having this here finished now, I can really say that I'm really impressed with the vehicle. Specifically, I love this color scheme. This crazy lime green, neon green kind of color with this more ocean green. Works really well. The red accent on the guns just kind of serves to make it pop a little bit more. Holds 11 figures, detachable submarine pod, cool little jet ski things on it. Yeah, overall this is just a really awesome vehicle. It did come with the vehicle driver, the Secto Viper. I'll have to pull that one out somewhere and do a review on him separately. But yeah, if you can come across one of these things, I highly recommend you picking it up. They're fairly cheap right now, but most of them are incomplete. It's really hard to get a fully functioning, complete one that has no problems on it whatsoever. So the few things that are usually common on these things are the broken tab for the submarine pod, which really doesn't detract too much. You can still attach the pod and everything like that. It just doesn't stay in place as well. So if you're lucky enough and can find one that's like 90% complete, go ahead and pick one up. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here, so that's pretty much it for this review. Pick one up if you can find it. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel below. Check out some of our awesome videos that we've done in the past. Look for more awesome videos in the future. Send us some comments, see how you would like us to do something specific in the future. Let us know. If we've screwed up something terribly, if you have major problems with any of the content we've provided so far, let us know. Tell us what we screwed up on. Tell us if we goofed on something. Otherwise, I've got some really big items coming down the pipe for the near future, or at least for the second half of the year, so stay tuned for those. And until next time, YoJoe.